Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I feel tired and not super great. But there we go. But we're gonna push on anyway. It's Misha route time. Oh, there we go. And because I don't feel super duper fantastic great, I don't know, just bear with me on this one. I don't know why I feel so not great. I mean, I ate. I'm having liquids. I mean, it's a bit hot, but that's not the problem. Although, speaking of it being hot, I should turn the fan on. Yeah. But we're gonna go do the other NTR route. Exactly. First, I want to check, was there any other dialogue choices? There wasn't? I thought Hanako had the least amount of choices. I know that Shizuna's route had the least amount of choices that matter, because it only has one, and Hanako has two choices that matter. But I thought if we're just talking about actual choices, like even the ones that don't matter, I thought... Huh? Did I miss one? Let's check the scenes, actually. It's not... Oh, wait. Also, I need to, disable adult content. Just in case. I had it on, because I went back and read the Shizune sex scene. There's a lot of CGs in that scene. It's actually kind of crazy. Shizuna's very sexy though. Yeah, the fewest decision forks. But let me check the Hanukkah route. No, not. I would have saved if I reached a choice, but I can't see any saves that have choices. Apparently not. Okay, weird. I guess I just remember reading that for Hanukkah's route, but I didn't. I know Rin has the most, though. Okay, well then there's no extra, like, small dialogue to get. So it's time to have sex with Misha. As much as I pretend to protest, I've allowed things to come to this point, even though I knew so far ahead of when she actually came out with it that this was what she was getting at. So gonna turn down that sound a little on my end. There we go. At the very least, I was okay with this outcome. If I needed any more proof, it's simple. I still haven't turned her away. Comfort, yeah, we're just comforting her, guys. I could have at least, I could have at any point, and it was wrong of me not to do it sooner, but now, not doing so is somehow beyond simple carelessness. Misha takes my silence as agreement and squeezes herself against me tightly, as if she was trying to get into my clothes. My arms are enveloped by the softness of her skin and the warmth of her body. I roll over on reflex and end up on top of her. She looks at me, as if expecting me to take the lead, and closes her eyes nervously the second I return my gaze. I guess I have no choice, and I clumsily begin trying to undress her, something I've never done before. Now it's like a little thing. I'm just gonna put this up, just in case. I think we're good. No, I didn't mean to do that. Get rid of that. There we go. I am dropping more frames than usual so far. The following morning, the following morning I wake up thinking that most of my time is going to be spent trying to avoid Shizune Misha. What happened last evening still makes me feel uneasy. I thought that sleeping on it would help alleviate that feeling. I feel like an idiot for believing it would be that easy. I think about whether or not Misha might feel the same way. If so, she probably won't show up to school today. I consider doing the same, but it would be pretty suspicious, and staying all day in fear doesn't appeal to me. It never has. Hey, it's the same. Is it? That one text box was the same, okay. It's strange that I should be running from the thought of having to talk to Shizune after spending so much time trying to do just that, but I can't think of any other way I should feel. I had sex with her best friend. If I feel that way about it, I wonder how Misha must feel, just as regretful. When she came on to me, she was more depressed than sexy to start with. I can only imagine how much worse it would be now. Thinking about it like that, I want to see her again, but only half-heartedly. The other half of me is still terrified, even though I hate to use that word. Hang on. I need to fix my background. It's too bright. I need to change it to just pure black. There we go. Makes me feel ashamed, but I'm sure it's the only way to describe myself right now. I'm not a good friend. Okay, so the library scene's the same. And this scene is... Oh, really? This is all the same? Okay. After all, I've even done something really terrible now. Unforgivably terrible. I should press herself harder, as if hoping to slip right through it. I read that, come on. Don't be stupid. I'm surprised by the tone of my voice. Sorry. I realized I hate it when I'm left feeling regretful over anything. Even so, it's impossible for me to not end up regretting something. Yesterday I did a stupid thing. That's probably part of the reason why I'm here right now, so I could figure out if I could maybe make it right somehow. Do you ever feel that way? You said you've done some terrible things. You can try fixing them. Hick-chan, isn't that... I know that she's thinking that I'm saying this more for me than for her. No, it's not. I just think that killing yourself is the biggest regret a person could end up with. Hick-chan, you're so dramatic. Whether she was serious, or I'll never know. I don't try to find out, as she lets out a sigh and closes her eyes as if going to sleep. I feel that the dangerous mood I was picking up from her has passed. It's not a trick, I promise it'll be something fun. Misha contrasts the Misha contrasts the genuine smile. Is that how you spell genuine? Genual?
Genial.
Genial? Oh, right, I know genial. Yeah. Misha contrasts the genial smile on Shizuna's face for a lonely expression of her own. I forgot about that word. You don't see it much. If Misha is really jealous of me for stealing Shizuna away from her, then it'd only make it worse if all three of us were together. I imagine it'd be like rubbing salt in an open wound, so I get the idea and let them spend time together. Damn. See, I've never actually got salt in an open wound before. I imagine it hurts like a bitch. But one time I had a friend in primary school who got a paper cut during class, and then later during lunch he forgot that he had gotten a paper cut earlier that day, and then he tried to eat his salt and vinegar chips, and you can imagine how that went. Just accidentally fucking hands in the bag, paper cut, and salt and vinegar. Now this is a proper NTR rat. Yeah, now it's actual NTR because I'm actually dating Shizune, and I just fucked her best friend anyway. Is she gonna find out? She has to find out, right? They can't just not have her find out. She's gonna find out. If Misha is really jealous for me for stealing Shizuna away from her, then it'd only make it worse if all three of us were together. I imagine... Oh, right, I read that. It's not so idealistic that I think a single afternoon to themselves will solve everything, but it might help. It seems like the better option than going with them, because my presence definitely wouldn't help at all. You two can go have fun then. Oh, I'm gonna go to bed early. Are you sure? It's barely past lunch. Told you, I don't feel too good today. I think I'm coming down with something. Coming down with the... I had sex with your friend virus. I don't... I thought that you said excuses like that won't work. She has me there. It's okay, but refusing someone's invitation is rude. I'll expect you to make it up to me. Shizuna turns around and smiles at Misha and starts signing something that I can't see. I assume it's along the lines of, it looks like it's just going to be the two of us. That's good. And then Act 4. Here we go. Is it different? No, it's the same. Could you imagine if a fucking Misha like thing popped up there? Now that would be wild. Surely they could have added that. How much of it... I actually know that it gets a lot different later. I mean, obviously... Well, do we have sex with Shizuna again? That'd be wild. Oh, we still have the scene in the cafe, yeah. Next day, Misha is back in class, although still looking pretty sullen. Not that I was expecting her to magically feel better, that would be asking the impossible, considering what happened. This time it's Shizuna who's out. At first, it almost makes me laugh that suddenly whenever one is in class, the other isn't. But thinking about it, there's nothing funny at all about it. In fact, I find it hard to concentrate on my work because of it. It could be that she's just sick, or she could simply be skipping class. It could also be something more serious, and I'm tempted to ask Misha if she knows, but I end up doing nothing. I don't regret stepping in yesterday, scared that Misha would do something rash, but now I feel like I should give her some space. Eventually the bell rings, and Misha gets up for lunch, along with everyone else. I decided to eat lunch in an empty classroom today, just not this one. Unfortunately, a lot of other students seem to have the same idea, so there's not a whole lot of empty classrooms to go around. Finally, as I'm about to give up on the idea, I find a dark one at the end of the hall. Man, I remember shit like this. Like, just... uni. This is like real uni vibes. Walking around the university, looking for an empty classroom to go into for like lunch, or like when I just want to chill with a friend, and it's like, we need somewhere to sit. And like, you know, every seat in the moot lounge is like always fucking taken. You find some empty classroom, but then after like half an hour some class comes in. Oh, wow, really? Turning the lights on, however, I find out that this one isn't MD either. Lily's head turns in my direction, which freaks me out before I realize she probably heard me flipping the light switch. Hello? Hey Lily, I didn't think anyone else would be here. Is that you, Hisao? Yeah, but you probably knew that already. I turn to leave, which prompts Lily to quickly speak up. You don't have to leave so quickly. We can both have lunch in the same room. As a matter of fact, I would prefer to eat with someone else. I'm about to ask her how she knew I was here to eat lunch, but brush it aside. It's just simple common sense, and I don't want to seem too easily impressed. I take a seat at the desk in front of Lily. After reversing... what? Oh, right, after reversing it to face hers. I've heard that our minds fill in a lot of what we see based on how we remember seeing it once before, or our expectations. Mostly for efficiency, so as not to have to process everything you look at individually. Lily never seems to stop to question any noise, so I wonder if it's because her mind is filling in context every time. Or does she not care and just sort of accept things as they fall into place? On her desk, there are just a few cookies and a thermos of tea. She must be one of those light lunch types. I bite into my sandwich, some of the ingredients spill out the back end. Come on, Hisao, you don't have to lie to us. We all know Hisao eats 2 pieces of bread and that's it. We haven't spoken in a long time. I'm surprised that you still remember my name. Would it be a long time? I guess this is like, what, the end of the year? Yeah, I guess it would probably be like... Assuming they never talked in any of the downtime we didn't see, then yeah, I guess it would be like half a year. Must be very busy in the student council. It's different, probably less actually, probably more like 3 or 4 months. It's different every week. Some weeks are pretty slow, some weeks I consider taking a sick day. Hold on, Lily, I need a second to catch my breath from inhaling that sandwich. Now, how's it been lately? Unpredictable. I snap my fingers, which, from her facial expression, upsets her a lot. I think that you've been hanging out around those two too much. I guess it is one of Shizuna's trademarks. Personally, I like it. I ignore it. Her tone doesn't change even slightly, but Lily's mood has obviously dipped. Doesn't seem like it would be easy to. I've been trying to figure out how she can make it so loud, but I think I'm damaging my knuckles. Knuckles? Mate, why would you damage your knuckles from snapping? Are you kidding me? It doesn't damage anything. There we go, that was a good one. Even if you were loud enough to break the windows, I would ignore it. I'm not a trained seal, I have that luxury. Are you still mad about that? I asked the question as carefully and diplomatically as possible, although in the end I'm only asking to satisfy my curiosity. No, of course not, although I don't like Shizuna. We were in the student council together for a brief time. I heard. I wish she hadn't been so quick to join. I don't like the way Shizuna runs the student council. Did you know that she scared off most of the old members? That's why I think she tries to surround herself with people who won't oppose her. Because she's a dictator, and they don't. It's like a dependency bubble. Wouldn't an echo chamber be better? I don't know. I'm sure that Shizuna is aware of what Lily is saying. After all, I can remember her specifically denying it a couple times, which I'd always thought was strange. They say that the more specific a denial is, the more likely it is that the allegations are true. In this case, I think I disagree. Shizuna is the one subject on which her opinion could be called less than objective. Did you tell her that? Very often. Lily stops to polish off the last of her tea. I'm running behind on finishing my own lunch and taking advantage of the pause to eat as much as possible. All of her friends are related to the student council, like Misha. I heard things are touchy between her and Misha. Did they have a fight? Not really. Is that so? Either way, there is no point in attempting to force them to make up. Always try to confront everything head on is what Shizuna would do. But it doesn't work in the real world. At some point, it's just being stubborn, not bravery or good intentions. That's a little general, don't you think? I suppose. What do you think is the best to have with tea? Cookies or scones? I like them both in different ways. I couldn't possibly choose. For tea? Cookies all the way for tea, but overall, I think I like scones more. I don't like people who constantly force me to pick sides on what to turn everything into a contest. When I joined the student council, I thought it would just mean helping everything run smoothly and helping people out, like being the class representative. Instead, every day consisted of having Shizuna stomp around, using Misha like a megaphone to talk about how we had to outdo the last student council and create more and more events and make them increasingly larger. But then the two of you basically want the same thing. All that stuff makes things exciting. I don't really get it at first, but it's not some ego project. People like fireworks and soba huts, candied apples and dress-up days or whatever. The more the student council does, the more responsibility the school gives us. It means extra work, but in a way, it also means more freedom. You have the pull to do things like organize a big festival, and they'll think you're capable enough to handle it, instead of just rejecting it instantly. Anyway, I want that too, now. It's got its share of pointless busy work, but there are moments that make it worth it when everything comes together. It gives me something to do. If I were to just go to school day in, day out, I think I'd explode. I think Yamaku is much more easygoing than other schools. Yamaku isn't other schools, though. I start slipping into another familiar mentality. In some ways, it's almost too easygoing. And if I were a different person, I'm sure that I would find how easygoing it was to be stifling. Though in any other school, such easiness would just be the normal flow of life. But here, the uneventfulness would be compounded. It would feel different, because I'm not a normal person, after all. Lily is a small government kind of person. Yeah. She doesn't want to be top dog. She wants to be like city mayor or something. I'd be reminded of it every time I heard the blood beating in my temples. I'd feel patronized and weak, and my bitterness would only grow. Yeah, sure. The point is, I think I understand what it's all about now. You're really giving Shizum... Fucking God. You're really giving Shizune too much of a hard time. That might be true, but when it comes to how she treats individual people, she doesn't do very well. Unfortunately, that one is a little harder to argue. Yeah, she's not the best. Do you have the time? I like to go to class 10 minutes before the bell. Then you're right on time if you go now. Excusing herself, Lily leaves, and I sit listening to the clicking of her cane on the floor, fading into the mumble of other students having conversations in the other classrooms and in the hall. I feel exhausted and completely forget that I wanted to talk to Shizune today. After After classes the next day, I instantly head towards the student council room to talk to Shizune. Even though she's in class, trying to cut her off and have a conversation with her near the doorway or out in the hall could be a little obtrusive. Better to try and meet up with her at the student council room. I take my time heading there, getting a juice from the vending machine on the way. Take my time. Yeah, getting a juice from the vending machine. Okay, I also go over what I want to say to her in my head. It's nothing too important, only a few questions about upcoming events. Aren't you gonna tell her you cheated on her, you fuck? Those unlocked when I get there. I think the room was empty too if I couldn't see Shizune's bag perched on her desk. With the top of her head peeking from behind, it looks as though she's built herself a little fort. Shizune gives a wave from behind her bag before picking it up with her finger and moving it out of the way. But after that, she immediately goes back to tapping her pen against the desk and staring into the checklist as if it held the meaning of life itself in it. What do you need? I wanted to see if there was anything I could help with. Like all that over there. What are those? Pointing to the medium-sized stack of folders beside her, but she waves her hand dismissively. I can handle that myself. And what about the elections? Also, where's Misha? It's going okay, and I told Misha that I was going to handle everything myself. Why? Shizune spins her pen in her hand slowly, working it between each of her fingers like a needle through a patch of cloth. No reason. Really? No reason. She signs it again, for emphasis, to shut down the notion that there's anything more behind it, but there is, since she's definitely not acting normal. What's with the silent treatment is the phrase that immediately springs to mind, even though it is hardly this time for humor. It does describe how I feel. We can't communicate normally, so I appreciate the few ways we can. What? Oh, so I appreciate the few ways we can. To be shut out like this hurts. It's obvious that whatever reason, it's going to be pretty much impossible to talk to Shizune today. Beyond just being stubborn, she seems depressed. With the way our conversation is going already, I don't see myself being able to find out what she's depressed about. Did Misha tell her? Somehow that only makes me want to find out more, and that means I have to ask Misha. The problem is, I don't really know where Misha goes in her spare time. After asking way more people than I should if they've noticed the girl with bright pink hair around and getting way more negative answers than expected, I finally find a couple who have seen her. By the time I reach the cafeteria, where Misha has apparently been this entire time, I've been around the whole school twice and I'm very tired. I realize I've passed by her before and just didn't see her behind a pillar. Why are you better at finding me than I am at finding you? You were looking for me, Hik-chan? Who knows? I think it's just coincidence. You know, the whole point of coincidences is that they aren't consistent. You having a really late lunch? I didn't get to eat at lunchtime, so yeah, but not too much, so I can still have dinner. Did you want to talk to me about something, Hik-chan? I don't waste any time. Yeah, the reason I'm here. Did you notice Shizune has been kind of moody lately? I want to ask you the same thing, Hik-chan. Well, except she's been this way for a couple of days now. I see. Hik-chan, do you think it's because of something I did? Do you think I got upset at Shik-chan last time? No, she seems angry at me. Anyway, I'm not lying. I really don't. Unfortunately, my attempts to assure her of that don't seem to be going so well. In her own way, Misha is pretty stubborn too. Eventually, I just head back to my dorm. The last few days have been nothing but a continuously frustrating experience, and they left me drained. I feel tired enough that I decided to take a nap, hoping that maybe I'll figure things out in my sleep. When I wake up, I feel more refreshed, but still without clarity. The only thing that has changed is that it's dark outside. How does this house suck at finding the girl with the pink hair? Yeah, seriously, she sticks out quite a bit, even with her short hair. And when she had the drills, don't even get me started. I feel more refreshed, but still without clarity. The only thing that has changed is that it's dark outside. From opening the window a little, I can tell the weather is still kind of nice. After dry swallowing my nighttime pills, I take a little walk to the vending machines. They're out of everything I'd normally get, so I mash my hand against the buttons until something pops out. Lights are off in the main building, including the student council room. Just an offhand observation. As I'm thinking to myself, I hear rustling behind me. I've seen this movie before. This is a very ominous sound to hear alone at night. Luckily, it's just Kenji, and he wanders out of the bushes in an unusually cheery mood. Hey, what the hell? Did you just creep up on people at night and casually go hey a lot? No, that'd be weird. I knew it was you. I have extremely good night vision. Maybe it's because I'm superhuman. What are you doing here then? I can ask you the same thing. What are you doing here? I considered just telling him the truth, but quickly decided against it. It would take too long to explain. Helen at the moon. I do that too. I do that too sometimes. The moon isn't out tonight though. What the fuck? I barely even hear him, feeling a bit resentful at the interruption. I lied to Shizune through my teeth that nothing was wrong. Or to be more exact, I lied through my hands. And at the exact same time, I was carrying on an entirely different conversation with Misha. That conversation, understandably, could upset Shizune, but there was no way that she could have heard it. Even Misha's hands, usually signing all her thoughts, were completely still. Even if they weren't, I was standing in front of her, blocking them from Shizune's view. The only way that Shizune could listen in on that conversation would be if she could read lips. Pretty much the first thing I'd asked her about when taking sign language was about lip reading, just out of curiosity. It's not easy, nor is it perfect, so I'd never considered it until now. It would make sense, and the room for misunderstanding while reading lips wouldn't help. So I realized that I could use the cover of darkness to buy milk. Usually I only go out when it's raining, or I can shroud myself in a sea of bikers or tourists. This is much more convenient. I'm spending too much money on milk now, though. You seem kind of mopey, or out of it or something. Don't think too hard. A man has to be all about action. I can't think about stuff all day, but changing the situation around by doing something is the best way. I do things all the time without thinking about it. That's why in middle school they called me Causes Many Problems. Thought it was cool. Sounded like an Indian name. What? I'm not really in the mood. Having a bad day? Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of distracted right now. So distracted that it doesn't tip me until he leaves that was actually kind of... What? That I was actually kind of sound advice. I think Shizune would have given me the same suggestion, but then it's too late to thank him politely. I already responded in the rudest tone possible. I just feel like an ass. In retrospect, these past few days, I've regretted every action I've taken. The worst part is that I haven't taken the time to stew over them, and in doing so, learn from them. This only has led to more regrets. Kenji God. The next morning, as I'm getting dressed, I hear a knock at my door. Quickly putting on the rest of my clothes, I open it without really stopping to think about who could be behind it. Turns out to be Shizune. Have we read this? No, okay. Misha told me that you were looking for me. I'm a bit hurt that I didn't even get a good morning, but it's not too big a deal. I was. But you found me yesterday. Shizune's finger traces a crack on the wall. It seems like she's trying her best to look distant. Well, I didn't make it easy, did I? It's alright. That's why I'm here. We can talk today, although I kind of want to go somewhere else. What about class? It's fine, it's fine. How about we take a walk around the school? Everywhere except the main building is going to be deserted. The first period bell should be ringing right now. I take a quick glance at my watch and see that she's right. Okay. Is there something wrong? Why do you think there is something wrong? Because you're obviously upset. I could just tell. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Shizune quickly cracks her knuckles while I sign to her. Apparently, it's easier to read than I'd thought. I was trying hard to hide it. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? I don't respond, and Shizune heads towards the door, slowly enough that I can tell she wants me to follow her. Her hands are folded behind her back, which is arched against them as though she is trying to bend over backwards at any second. Outside, I see that Shizune is right. The school is completely deserted, although it's not my first time seeing the school like this. It's kind of eerie. Shizuna acts almost as though I'm not there, browsing a vending machine and taking a slow, winding path until we end up behind the main building. Finally, she leans against the wall and faces me, but it's like I've forgotten how to start a conversation. There is a saying, you don't know how much you've screwed up until you screw up. Who says that? I guess it's me. Reconsidering her train of thought, she waves her hands in frustration. Okay, I'll put it differently. When I was younger, we had to make posters for Earth Day in school. There was another girl in my class whom everyone considered the best artist. It wasn't because she could draw better than everyone else, it was how much she could fit into a single picture. I wanted to be better than her, so I made countless posters until I ended up with the best possible one. I had to be the best and have the greatest one. In the end, everyone liked my poster the most of all, even the teacher. A week later, it was meaningless. I threw it in the trash. I think I've told you something like this before. Yeah? When I feel like I'm finished, I wish I could just wipe the slate clean, whether I succeed or not. I put Misha through a lot and even dragged you into it. And every point where I could have solved this silly situation or prevented it from happening in the first place keeps coming back to me. It's the worst feeling, especially when I feel like I've done nothing right and everything wrong. Like recently. It's the worst kind of failure. I feel like a failure on every level. I wish I could just wipe away everything I've done and just be alone, since all I've done is mess with Misha for 2 years and jerk you around for a year for selfish reasons. It's fine. No, it's not. You don't understand. I was just thinking about it. Everything I do feels like I have to beat someone else. Everyone else even. If that is how it is, then what are my relationships with people? They almost feel the same. I can see where this is going. The point is that I've messed up so many people by being selfish, and now I want to be away from other people for a while. Even me? There's a pause. Yes. Followed by an even longer pause, this time for me. I see. That's the most selfish thing you could do. It's just you making another decision by yourself. For a minute, it looks as though she's considering the best way to respond, but in the end, she simply nods, which I think is the best way to respond anyway. It's very like her to be roundabout even now, but ultimately without excuses. All my emotions simmer inside me. I see a kettle in front of me, water rolling inside it, so close that I can touch it and feel the heat radiating off of it. I'm glad for the distraction because I know there's no recourse or bargaining possible. You told me that everything was fine, but it wasn't true, was it? I can't believe it ever again then. Alright. Not even bothering to sign it, I stand up, my hands are in my pocket, fingering my loose change. The morning air is cold against my face. As I look back at her, she seems very lonely. I'm reminded of myself. I've made that expression before. Maybe it's on my face right now. I feel like the image of such a lonely girl will stick in my mind forever. Let's just get that out for a sec. Got a bit of Schrodinger's panties going on there. Every moment where I could have prevented this or solved the problem comes back to me. Makes me smile in a way without amusement. Oh wait, that's it? That's it? Damn, okay. That's really short compared to like, I know I skipped over a bunch of stuff, but even that end bit is just so much shorter. You did wrong the route. Yeah, pretty much. Damn, that's a fucked up ending, honestly. It's messed up. Shizuna's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a break from people, and Asao's just like gives off and pissed off, okay, and then like fucks off. And it's just like, nothing's solved. Everyone's just sad because I fucked Misha. Oh yeah, speaking of Four Leaf, so I saw a theory that the Misha route was cut because the developers wanted the game to be 421 megabytes because 4 Leaf Studios and they have 21 developers work on the game. 421. You get it? I think that's bullshit. It's kind of obvious. They gave the reason of time constraints, which I believe seems to be the case to me, especially considering how the other routes are. No, wait. Library? Yeah. Yep. Dalton said this game is a dating sim for disabled people. Is he wrong? No, he's 100% correct. This is a dating sim for disabled people. If you look at the right, the top girl has, no arms. The next girl has no legs. The next girl is a burn victim. The next girl is deaf, and blind, and the girl after that is deaf. Girl at the bottom's deaf. The one we just did. The route we did with Shizuna, she's deaf. Whenever she was talking with us, she was signing. The one whose tits you saw. Damn. Yeah, that's what this game is. You get heart arrhythmia, so you get sent to a special school that has on-site hospital and stuff, and so there's a bunch of disabled girls, and all the different routes are dating different disabled girls. Well, we got that done, so I wasn't actually gonna start this right away, but I guess we'll just move on to the Lily route right now, because I was expecting that to take longer than it did. Okay, yeah, it's Lily with 2 L's for the second L. Alright. We're gonna do, blind to go now. These probably don't matter, but I feel like, yeah, of course. For Lily route, I don't know, probably that choice I think doesn't actually matter at all. Actually, maybe it matters for Shizuna, but whatever. I don't know, man. Do any of these matter? I should just look it up, actually. At this point, we only have 2 routes left, so I don't want to fuck around too much. Okay. What? Oh, hell yeah. We got flowcharts, boys. Okay. Ask about library it is. I thought so. Because yeah, I need to also hang out with Hanako to get on the Lily route. Back to the good old Act 1 shenanigans. Defensively, because that adds nothing. Hey Lily, this time I'm gonna fuck you! I apologize, right? Yeah. Guess I could go either way. I gotta say she was cute. Alright, fair enough. Apparently there's only one choice that separates doing Hanako or Lily's route. It's like mostly the same. I haven't got that other one. Actually, that other one always shows up though, so I can probably get it when I'm doing the Emmy route. Should be fine. Man, I miss Rin. I did her route first, so it's been like the longest since I've actually proper interacted with her. It's fine. I'll see her in the Emmy route. Maybe. It's fucking insane. God damn. Oh. Oh, right. Of course it would lag there. It always does. Yeah, obviously it would be, hey, come on. Oh, yeah, now the flowchart gets complicated. Hell yeah. Now this flowchart's going all over the place. You guys can't see it, but it gets crazy after that choice. Yeah, this is, so it looks like my Act 1 is, you get a pretty similar Act 1 as, I mean, I'm mostly done with doing Act 1 stuff, so this is probably going to be the case for the Emmy route too. It's mostly just kind of going through it. Fucking Rin's faces. Where are we? Oh god. Where am I? Wait, where the hell am I? Where am I in this flowchart? Wait, so I said that, which goes to there, and then it should have gone to there. And then it went there, and then it went there. So then it went there. I didn't, so it would have gone there. Oh, so that's what this choice means? What is green? Is green Rin? Oh no, green is dumb choices, apparently. I think. Green means go. Not in this case. Okay, green is apparently a dumb choice. That probably means deaf choice. So I think I pick sorry here. Let me. What am mine just step? Okay, yeah, I pick sorry here. I'm fine as a dumb choice, which probably means deaf. Also, there's like none of these are Rin choices. I think it's just be lethargic but don't die. Get you Rin. Okay, go for a walk into town, which we haven't done because last time we did Hanako. This is the Lily choice, which gets me into the Lily end. Got it. Alright, boys, we're good to go. Kenji route green for Kenji God. I mean, technically, yeah. In a way. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There was a reason she left the classroom after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lily. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her other obviously taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lily. The exercise will do me some good as well. Walking through the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small nod to a couple of passing classmates, the gesture being returning kind. Even from here, the shouts of the sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of the din, the track must be packed right now. I remember what Lily said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up on study that I've missed. Everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only are the school grounds huge, but the buildings themselves are immaculate and quite divorced from the dime a dozen concrete blocks of public schools. It's also the fact that there's a much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendlier atmosphere. At my old school, it was generally accepted that people would keep to their little clique and be done with it. Eventually, I reach the gate and begin to walk down the road and into town. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of town, even including the houses perched on the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionably dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. Well, all that's to be seen are the old elderly people shuffling along the sidewalk and assorted busily chattering pairs of middle-aged women outside of small storefronts. Yeah, they're all fucking clucking like hens. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them though, making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldiering on. After a quick glance around the park as I enter, I take a seat on a wobbly old bench that I notice near a couple of vending machines. For minutes on end, I sit with my head bent over, forcing myself to take deep breaths. I feel more like an old man than a teenager who should be in the prime of his life. Stay in hospital, the surgery, and the medications must be taking their toll on me, damn it. Eventually, my breathing returns to normal, and the muscles in my chest loosen. Not without a fair measure of relief. I guess this means the end of my little... What? Shoujo. In any case, there's a cafe on the far corner, so I'll stop by to quench my thirst before heading back. A little bell above the door signals my arrival to an empty counter. God damn it, my throat's like filling with phlegm. Sit break. For a few moments, I stand there waiting, my eyes every now and again drifting from one end to the other, from one end of the counter to the other, searching for a service bell. Eventually, a door some ways behind the counter opens, the person emerging from it taking me by complete surprise. Oh, he doesn't know it's Yuko yet. Yuko? Hi, I had no idea you worked here. I really have no idea how to address her either, given that she's technically school staff as well as, apparently, a waitress. Yes, She quickly paces up to the counter before flinging her upper half downward in what? Overacted bow. Welcome to the Shanghai, may I take your order? Straight down to business, I see. I don't know, well, some coffee, please. Yes, certainly. I'll make it right away and bring it to you when it's done. Thanks. Yuko's formality takes me aback. She seems to take her job very seriously. Obeying her instructions, I turn around and quickly glance around for a free table. Considering the cafe seems to be empty, this is a simple task to accomplish. As I walk towards a table adjacent to the window, I notice a flash of yellow around one of the table dividers. Sure enough, no more than a glance is needed to discern that it's a certain Sato at the table. What? Is that her last name? That said, I don't recognize the suited figure across the table from her. Time to meet Akira for the third time. This time in Act 1. That's actually surprising. Blonde, fair-skinned, and only a little shorter. He? She? I think she. Must be a relative. Since the two are all but silent, as the suited figure takes a swig from a cup of coffee, I decide to greet Lily. Some part of my coming here was in order to meet her after all. Hi, Lily. Sao. Yeah, nice to see you again. The suited girl looks up, noting my uniform with a relaxed smile. Know each other? Well-dressed person? I guess. It's as good as it's as good an approximation of our relationship as I can think of. Care to take a seat? I mean, you know her. It's not like she asked if you were good friends. She says this to the air beside me, but the message is clear enough, and I take a seat beside her. I suppose some introductions might be in order. Sao, this is Akira Sato, my older sister. Akira, this is Sao Nakai, another Yamaku student. Looks like my guess was correct. The newly introduced Akira gives a nod, which I return. What I don't return, however, is the almost analytical gaze with which she looks me over. As she does so, Yuko walks up to the table and carefully places the coffee on the table before bowing and taking her leave. Gently bringing my hand to the side of the cup, I realize that it's already at just the right temperature to drink. After taking a sip, the flavor turns out to be just as good as the temperature. Yuko seems a lot better at this than being a librarian. Take a good long drink before relaxing into the seat. It takes more seconds for Akira's examination to come to an end. Apparently becoming quickly bored with the activity, she turns to her sister. Ooh. So how's school recently? It seems Akira is entirely unconcerned with someone she doesn't know at all, listening to everything they say. Not that I mind leaving them to their chatting. I sit back and continue drinking the pleasantly aromatic coffee. Sounds like it's pretty busy for you then. At least I'm not cooking your meals after school anymore. As they talk, I slowly realize that I'm entirely unable to gauge Lily's emotions through her eyes, as I would for any other person. It becomes slightly unsettling as I subconsciously focus on that fact. Whoa, so cold. Why don't you just cook them for yourself anyway? I only ever got leftovers. That's not the point. Are you managing to feed yourself at least? I can cook without blowing myself up, you know. Mostly. That's... It's fine, it's fine. I needed to learn sometime anyway. Lily. Everyone present is momentarily distracted by Yuko, who places a cup of tea on the table for Lily. Taking the moment to glance at her watch, Akira levers herself off her seat and gives me a quick nod. Well, I'd better be off. It was nice talking to you, Lily. Akira, do you have to? He looks genuinely mournful as her sister suddenly leaves. It does seem like she might have the wrong idea. Sorry, I need to get back to work. They'll be on my neck again if I don't make it back quickly. So informal. Akira's trim and tidy appearance would give anyone the wrong impression of her. Bye, Akira. Come on, don't look so down. I'll be around again soon. See yous. With that, she waltzed out of the Shanghai with her hand held high. Lily still looks pretty depressed, so I try to make some small talk in an effort to take her mind off it. She seems nice. We used to live together, but now that we live at school, we hardly ever see each other. Despite Lily having been quite affable, I still don't really know much about her. In hindsight, it's surprising just how much she's extracted from me, really. We used to live together. Was it somewhere around here? It was pretty far south, so the trip into Yamaku was fairly long. With her working hours getting longer, and Yamaku being so far away, there was little choice in the end but to move into the dormitories. That explains the chatter about cooking. Evidently regaining her composure, she livens back up, at least in part. I take it you're better rested now? Sorry? You sound less exhausted than you did when you first came in. To be able to pick out my breathing like that, she must have pretty good ears. Yeah, I ended up walking all over town, despite only planning on taking a short walk down here. Reminded of my first from the walk, I leaned forward to take a sip. Without further ado, Lily starts on her cup of strong-smelling tea. I guess I'd better get going back to Yamaku. There's only so long I can still studying for, and I want to get a good night's sleep before the festival. Damn, we're almost at the festival. This route really doesn't have that much different from Hanako. Standing from my seat, I take the coffee-stained cup from the table. You're leaving? Yeah, you gonna head back as well? It's getting kinda late. For a moment she pauses before lifting her face over her teacup, as if she was looking at me. Yuko, could we have one more coffee, please? Okay, I'll bring it right away. That's not subtle. She gives a short giggle at my frank assessment of her maneuver. It's surprisingly childish and carefree, given her otherwise collected appearance. In the end, though, I have little reason to refuse. To be honest, I can hardly say no, all things considered. Giving a manufactured sigh, I take a seat opposite her. Waiting company, then? I'd say that's more that I was wondering. I see she's in questioning mode again. She does seem to be unusually interested in me, or at least curious. Do you have any siblings? Not exactly an unexpected tangent. No, only child. To be honest, the idea of having someone that close makes me a bit envious. Interesting. I raise an eyebrow, which of course goes unseen. The short silence communicates the question well enough. It's just that others have said the same thing before. It's a difficult subject to try and think about objectively, given that I've always had someone like that. I can mostly understand what Lily means, given that it would be hard to place oneself outside of a situation they've been in all their life. Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's weird to think about, as someone with siblings, it is hard. It is weird and hard to think about being an only child. Like, I was one for a year, 1 month, and 9 days. But you know, it was 1 year. It was the first year of my life, and that's it. So I don't even remember any of that. As long as I can remember, I've always had siblings. And so yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I imagine that for someone that's a single child, it's just as hard to imagine what it would be like having siblings. That would probably actually be more hard, I reckon, to imagine like extra people around your age in the house that you're related to, but it's like, yeah, if you were a single child, it'd be a weird concept, I think. More so than like if you have siblings, I think it's easier to imagine them not being there than for someone who's never had siblings to imagine them being there. She and her sister must have a pretty close relationship. Taking pains to interrupt us as little as possible, Yuko dutifully comes over and places a cup on the table. Lily thanks her as I sit back, taking in this vexing girl in front of me. Despite always seeming to be on her guard and in control of herself while talking to others, she has an almost childlike curiosity about other people. That said, those rare moments she seems to slightly lower her guard are the most insightful into how she thinks. Reaching forward for my drink, I realize something I probably should have noticed earlier. I think I'm starting to become kind of curious about her. Ooh. Sal likes Lily. Despite making a good pace, it's already nightfall by the time I reach the large iron gates in front of the school. While it's nice to have plenty of time to wander around by virtue of living right next to the school, I can't help but get the feeling that very few students actually take the opportunity. Compared to the number of students I see milling around on campus during free time, it's startlingly rare to see anyone around town. Given the large number of accommodations and facilities that the school offers, many of them might simply not see any point in venturing outside, let alone people such as Hanako and Kenji. Makes me wonder if students like Shizuna, Misha, and Lily are the exception for this school rather than the norm. As I wander back to my dorm room, I continue to compare my old school with Yamaku. As I do so, I begin to be surprised that I managed to get even this used to everything that's happened to me. Manly picnic with whiskey. Right. I'll know what I do, even if it's just one person. I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lily. Oh right, I go to her stand and she's like cooking, and I eat the food. But last time I was like, and now I go see Hanako, and this time I'm like, I'm gonna stay here with Lily. Ah, Sal, you brought it back. Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands, and she takes it over to someone who is apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey, Lily. She perks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. Want to go see some more of the festival? She puffs her cheeks disapprovingly. Looks kinda cute, and in complete contradiction to her usual reserved nature. Takes a few seconds to me what she's taking issue with. Whoops. Oh yeah. I didn't mean to. Lily giggles at me, exposing her teasing for what it is. Dropped some frames there again. That's weird. You're still not used to this school, are you? She got me. Still, I kinda need to stay with our stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything unpacked. I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much work she's put into this. Everything seems to be running fine now, though. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. The boy in the middle of cooking some soba noodles turns towards us, grinning. Go on, Lils. You've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now. If you say it's okay, then I suppose so. But if you need any help, then we'll call you. Go on. We'll be fine. Lily finally gives up her resistance as she waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Hanako. Lily seems kind of worried about her, and I doubt she'd be the kind of person to enjoy milling around in crowds like this all alone. So I guess we should search for Hanako. Where to first? The both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room. I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. The library? As good a place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is. We'll check there first then. Aside from the muffled sound of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any other school standards. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. Is the library on the second floor? I never got that. I never figured that was the case. What a weird spot for a library. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door an obstacle, her cane remaining still and her hand skating along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for a few years now, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up though. Sometimes I haven't been there as long and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, they used to be unused buildings before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms looked different from the outside, and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd been living in the dormitories since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'm assuming that most of the students have lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to in any case. Lily's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my question evidently touching on a delicate point. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of those with reasons is Hanako, and so tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess it's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you were coming to dislike it. What about you, though? My reversal of Lily's statement takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so... It's not that. You just seemed pretty depressed about Akira. What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Isao. He never sees how fast my palm meets my face at a sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. Well, she gives an amused grin and we round the corner of the hallway and enter the library. As we do so, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely void of anyone else. Given that there are no staff around, I guess there's no need to heed to usual library rules. I call out to her. Hey, Hanako. Hanako is here? As she hears our voices, Hanako's head flicks up from behind a book, probably the same one she'd been reading on Friday. So, Lily. Just thought we'd drop by. Lily just managed to escape from the noodle stall, with a little help. That wasn't really an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library towards the festivities. Whoa, this is new, isn't it? I feel like this is a new background. I hand over some change to the girl behind the counter and take the two styrofoam cups of tea. I try to accentuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact that she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those two in the grey gardens while I bought drinks. Trying to juggle the 2 cups of hot tea for them and a can of coffee for myself out of a vending machine isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walk over to the bench where Lily and Hanako are sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place, lit only by moonlight. It's tucked away some distance from the main event. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much, most of the visitors have moved to areas that are either closer to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Isao. Her ears are good. I'm not exactly close, and even Hanako hasn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my right hand, and I gently place the other in Lily's outstretched hand. Did you enjoy the festival then, Isao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer, much of the food may have been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. In fact, I think those two may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lily and me around, much of Hanuko's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Man, this really is, like, not that different from the Hanuko route, like, at all. We're already at the fireworks. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the first fireworks rings out before it explodes into a vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, heralding the beginning of the end of the festival. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowds scattered around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watch the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listens to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular, and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colours fill the air one after the other and dance across the sky. No place near where I lived put on such a lavish display. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these two, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. So that's it. The festival's finally over. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I might complain about all the stuff we have to do, it's still sad that we'll have graduated before the next Yamaku festival. I walk forward and stand behind Lily, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, we still have Tanabana later in the year, right? You're right, it would be nice to go there when it comes. Minutes of silence passed with only the blast of the fireworks to be heard. Seeing these two reminds me of those words of advice Lily had given me as we walked into town together. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends, huh? Hey, Lily. She turns her head slightly to show that she's listening. Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor fireworks bursting overhead. You mind if I join you two for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be a pleasure, Hisao. We bangin' the blind girl. Oh, right. Anime. Face feeling, that's lewd. Past. Was that a young Lily? That really didn't look like her. I'm actually really surprised how quick everything's been. I was like, damn, I got to like the Misha route was way shorter than I was expecting, and now the getting through Act 1. I mean, I guess I should have realized that Act 1 is only getting shorter and shorter with each successive playthrough. Emmy's is probably gonna be quite short as well, although I think there's like, I don't know. I think there's still a few. I feel like the Emmy choices and Rin choices don't really overlap the same way. So it'll probably be longer than this Act 1 was, but probably still pretty short. Considering I made some of the Emmy choices when I died. Well, let's save it. And I'm actually gonna end here. Because originally I was like, oh, just end the Misha route. And then the Misha route was short, and I'm like, well, I guess we can start Lily. And then the Lily Act 1 was short, and I was like, it hasn't even been 2 hours, but whatever. It's been what, an hour and a half? This is just, it's way more than I was planning to do, so I'm like, I'm kind of just thrown off by it all. Oh man, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. Like I said at the start, I don't feel too well anyway, so. And a short stream isn't exactly rare when I'm doing a visual novel anyway. tomorrow I will not be streaming because of Melbourne Cup. I don't care about horse racing, but my family will be watching it, and they kind of make a party out of it. So I'm there for the food, the snacks, the drinking. I'm not there for the watching the horse races. I don't bet or anything like that. I don't support it, but they'd be watching it and doing all this stuff even if I wasn't there. So might as well at least eat some food and drinks and stuff. But that's all, and so that's a whole family thing. So that means there won't really be time to stream tomorrow. So no stream tomorrow. The day after that will be Xenoblade Chronicles. We'll be back on Xenoblade Chronicles. Been a while since we had Spooktober week, but yeah, we'll be getting back on Xenoblade and the side quests, the last ones that we have to do. At this point, who doesn't just go to parties just for the food? Yeah, exactly. Jashul gets it. Jashul? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but maybe that's right. Genshin confirmed dead. Well, I decided to turn my weekend into my break days, as I have said. And Genshin was... The Genshin stream days was weekend. That's right. So I turned the weekend into my break days instead, because I realized I didn't have any break days, and I kind of need break days. Genshin, honestly, I realized too late that I wouldn't be able to stream on Tuesday, because I was, even when Sunday was almost over, I'll be like, oh, I'll be able to do a lot of streams. I'll be able to do streaming Monday, Tuesday, perfectly fine, and I have like no housework that I need to do those 2 days. This is gonna be great. And it wasn't until like last night that I was in bed that I was like, oh wait, Tuesday's Melbourne Cup, so I won't be able to stream. And I was like, oh, I should have streamed on Sunday, because then I'll have 2 break days in the week anyway, if I made them be like Saturday and then take a break Tuesday. I could just stream Saturday at the end of the week. Maybe that's what we'll do. But Genshin is off stream now, so I mean I still play it. I just don't stream it. Okay. So yeah, tomorrow will be nothing. Day after, Xenoblade Chronicles. If you're just here for Katawa Shoujo, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4 days, I will be back, and we will do Lily Act 2. I don't know. Depends how I feel for how much of it we do, but we'll definitely get started on Lily Act 2 then, which is like actual proper Lily stuff. I am very curious how similar to the Hanukkah route it is. Like, I wonder if we'll have same scenes or not. I feel like we'd have to, right? Surely? I don't know. We'll see. So, thank you all for watching. If you are not currently following and you like what you see, follow me. And if you didn't like the stream, keep it to yourself. Just kidding. But yeah, so, accept my friend requests, sir. Oh, in Genshin? Well, next time I open it, I probably will. I haven't opened it since I last streamed it, actually. Even though I decided, I was like, oh, so maybe I don't still play it, but I will still play it. I need to accept that friend request. And also get my adventure rank up. So, honestly, I think the reason I keep doing short streams is it's getting hotter. It's getting hot. It's Australia. It's becoming summer. And I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. Summer's the worst season. I can die in a hole. Listen how loud my fucking fan is. Can you hear it? Can you hear the background hum of wind? Zero here, fan? Bullshit, it's getting as high as yellow just when I'm silent and the fan. Seriously? Just strip. Well, I will tell you guys, I'm not wearing pants right now. This whole stream, I wasn't wearing pants. I'm sorry if that upsets you, but that's just the reality of the situation. I wasn't wearing pants the whole time. I was wearing undies, but I got no pants on. And I still have to have my fan on like max, and I still feel kind of hot anyway. Look, it fucking sucks. I hate I hate Australian heat. Whatever. I don't deal with heat well, so maybe the streams will slow down. We'll see, but I'll try to keep doing them. But if it gets too hot, I'm gonna want to kill myself. So yeah, I'll see you all in 2 days. I really wish I could stream tomorrow. We'll make up for it by streaming on Saturday as an extra. So yeah, I'll see you all. Eira's room continues to have 0 air circulation. It'll have... Well, the problem is now that it's hot, it gets even harder to create air circulation, because usually once the stream ends, I'll, like, open up the window. But, opening the blinds and opening up the window is a horrible idea, because although opening up the window will make the fan work better, opening the blinds will let heat in and the sunshine in. And if you live in a country that doesn't have to deal with heat, like a European country, you probably think that it's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal. You don't let the heat fucking in. Only if the window is like in the shade, then yes, you 100% get that window fucking open. Otherwise, no, cover it, because the sun is shining directly into my window. It's a horribly placed window. I hate it. I can see the light streaking through the openings in the blind, and so I can't make the air circulation better. I can't do it. It used to be easy. It's not anymore. Anyway, and that is why all of you should stay frosty. Alright, I'll see you all later. Goodbye.